It got answers after a woman needed help getting information about her father's driving status. Now the state is considering some changes. Barb Egler-Bailey has been in contact with the state for months about getting her 87-year-old dad's license taken away for good. Now his driving record is clean, but his daughter says his performance on the road is anything but flawless. In May, she filled out a form requesting a driver reevaluation from the state. A letter came back agreeing her dad should be retested in the next few weeks. When she tried following up, she was told she couldn't get any information due to a privacy policy. Well, Target 8 found out her dad was sent a letter requesting a driver's exam, but he never showed. His license had been suspended since July. Because of our investigation, her dad is no longer driving, and the state is reviewing their procedures. Having the conversation to take away a loved one's keys can be hard. To help with that conversation, we're going to talk about that today. We're joined by Joy Spahn with the Alzheimer's Association of Greater Michigan. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
This is a difficult situation because as a child, even an adult child, you don't want to have to tell your parents how to live their life.
No, you don't. And there's so many things that are tied up with driving. It's independence. I mean, all of us look forward to when we get our driver's license when we turn 16 or 17. And it represents so much more than just driving around. It represents independence, it represents freedom, it represents all of those kinds of things. And when those privileges look like they're going to be taken away, it's pretty traumatic for everybody.
Is there a way to start? How about, say, I'm an only child, and so I don't have siblings to talk this over with,
Sure.
that we can come to an agreement?
Sure. Well, granted, I'm with the Alzheimer's Association, so a lot of times when we're talking about driving, we're talking about someone that's having some difficulty with some cognitive issues, some memory loss, and that sort of thing. But first case that you might want to think about is having a conversation early. What is it, if I were the person that you were talking to, what kinds of things would I want you to know that would indicate that I'm not safe anymore? Because everybody wants to be safe on the road. Nobody wants to hurt anybody. So if you have that conversation, maybe looking at coming up with some kind of a contract saying, okay, mom or dad, when these things start to happen, this is what you've told me you want me to tell you, so that then it's not safe. That's the best case scenario. Other kinds of things are exactly what this daughter did in terms of looking at options of getting reevaluated. You can also have a conversation with your doctor. A lot of times I would recommend that if you want to have that conversation, that you give your doctor a heads up, that you don't walk into the examining room and drop that on them.
Okay.
But have that conversation, let them know what's going on. We also work a lot with police officers. In fact, we just had a training, and one of the things that came out in the interview was that there was no record that he did not have any record of accidents or anything like that. And we actually encourage police officers, if they do pull an older person over that is having some driving issues, that they really should be ticketed. Not because we want to be mean to them, but because there needs to be some kind of trail there that there has been some difficulty, and that's actually helping the person in the long run.
And now that's not what this woman had. She had a car that was all banged up with no history. He had a clean record.
He did, and those actually are some of the signs and symptoms that we always ask families. Look for any dings in the car. Look for maybe backing in and out of the garage, and maybe they've hit the side of the garage door and that sort of thing. So start looking for those little signs and symptoms. We've had things where people have bumped the mailboxes, or they've had bumpers, or we hear frequently about maybe the accelerator and the brakes being mixed up, and folks getting in accidents that way. Recently about someone going down the wrong way of the road. And those are the kinds of things that, you know, they're not done deliberately, but as a person's cognition changes and their ability for judgment and insight and rationale and putting all of those pieces together begin to diminish. So what often comes across as someone being belligerent or argumentative or resistant really is more of an indication that the person's abilities to take that information and integrate it together and recognize that the things that they're doing actually result or actually indicate that there's some changes going on that need to be addressed.
I like your advice of doing this early, before the person starts showing any sign of forgetfulness or cognitive issues. Make that call early. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Joy.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Well, we want you to join the conversation tonight with us from 5 until 6 at woodtv.com. We have another expert on the topic coming in, and they'll be live chatting, answering any and all of your questions. This can be a very touchy topic. I think we can all agree on that, but it's important to discuss discuss it. Again, that's tonight from 5 until 6 at woodtv.com. We have a link on our website to explain how to chat.